Mana Spark may be best described as a roguelike Titan Souls. However, repetitive bosses and a shallow item pool limit replayability. Mana Spark's structure is typical for a roguelike. The player battles through increasingly threatening levels until a final battle, collecting loot to upgrade abilities along the way. However, Mana Spark distinguishes itself as in the deliberate pace of the combat. Enemy attacks are diddly but clearly telegraphed. Player attacks that strike enemy shields deal no damage, and enemies can be baited into traps or even fighting one another. How exactly combat plays out beyond that depends on the selected character. Mana Spark features 3 distinct playable characters. The Hunter is a bowman with a powerful but slow attack that leaves the player momentarily vulnerable after shooting. The Hunter can also avoid attacks via an Enter the Gungeon style dodge roll. The Guard wields a much faster but weaker crossbow and rapidly dashes instead of rolling. And finally, the Warrior bears a sword and shield to strike in melee and block attacks. These ingredients all result in a deliberate and satisfying combat that is distinct between each character. I never suffered a defeat that resulted in any frustration. I always knew why I failed and what action I should have taken instead. Enemy attacks are predictable and they give the player ample time to respond. Environmental hazards only require just a little bit of attention. There are some traps. There's not a lot of traps. There's spike traps and dart traps. As long as you're just heads up, you'll be fine. But if you're not paying attention, then you get punished, and that's kind of the theme throughout the game, gameplay-wise. Shortcomings where Mana Spark falls short is the limited amount of loot and the predictable boss fights. The player earns item every level, and initially these are handed out for free. Later, you kind of get a little mini-boss battle to earn an item, and that's all fine, but after it's only like a couple of hours, I think I'd seen every item, or almost every item, which is crazy. I think I've played, how many hundreds of hours have I played of Isaac? Let me check while I'm recording this right now. Isaac, I played 530 hours of Isaac, and I still haven't seen every item. Where this was, I've seen every item in almost a day, which is really shockingly low for a roguelike. There's not a lot, and most of them are just typical stat upgrades. A few more interesting effects are included, such as split attacks or bouncing shots. One thing I did really like was that those characters had access to special items, just unique to those characters, to improve their individual flavors, and I really like that concept. I like to see that more in the genre, where you have these distinct, flavorful characters that also, beyond just whatever they're starting with, have access to different items they can find that are special to them to further distinguish them. I think that's a really great idea. Bosses, despite being well designed, quickly overstay their welcome, whereas most rogues opt for a rotating pool of random bosses, so there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 first stage bosses that you don't know which one you're going to get. It's one of those 3 or 4. Mana Spark only has 3 boss fights total. They all appear in predictable order, and after a few encounters, they're hardly even threatening. Even if you have a bad run, you know exactly what they're doing when they're doing it. And that's similar to the problem I had with Wizard of Legend with its limited boss pool, but at least the boss order would change, which would then modify the fight slightly. This problem is like that taken even more extreme, because it's always the same bosses, always doing the same thing, and you burn through them. You get bored of them very quickly. Which is all that is Mana Spark's greatest weakness, is poor replayability. By that 8 hours of play, I felt I'd mastered the game, I've seen everything, and it's just so low. It's a roguelike game that in a work day I'm done with. That's crazy low, even for some of the lower quality rogues I've seen. Like, there's quality here in the gameplay. I enjoy the gameplay. It's just not it's not a lot of depth. It doesn't go farther. It's not wide. It's shallow and small, and it should be deeper, it should be wider, it should be a greater breadth of experience. Presentation. Quick word on the presentations. It is a pixel graphic style, if you're just not much about that. I know some people are, but the visual information is all presented very clearly. Even if you won't be taking screenshots of anything, the music's innocuous, the sound effects are both varied and effective. So, in summary, Mana Spark is a satisfying, skill-based action roguelike, which is held back by the fact there's just not much of it. There's not enough of it. It's a $10 price tag. It'll buy you enough for maybe a day. So, it's good. It'll be okay. It's a fine game to play for a day. If you're looking for more of that, if that's not enough value for you, well then heads up. That is, for a video game, low price. It's the indie price. Otherwise, yeah, heads up. This is going to keep you, if you're looking for a 600-hour Isaac experience, this isn't it. But if you like Titan Souls, you like precision combat, if you like the idea of, because it's kind of like Souls-like Rogue, I can't not recommend it. Like, it was a good I did have fun with it. The combat's really satisfying to master and roll around and shoot enemies in the face. Like you shoot around their shield. It is very precise, and it is very satisfying, admittedly. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.